I'm gonna dye my hair. Hey, it's Kayla, and on this self-care Sunday, I'm going to be dyeing my hair. I got Violet Noir from L'Oreal Feria. I've never done like a purple violet before. I've done red accidentally. I got everything mixed up. This is what the bottle looks like. It's not quite mixed up. So I'm gonna do this while I talk about some of my recent reads. Oh. So these are also like just all the books I believe I read in February. I didn't read a ton. 6 books. So let's get started. Whoa, this is so bright. So the first book I'm gonna talk about is, whoa, Jewel of the Sea by Tiffany Roberts. This is book 2 in the Kraken series. The Kraken series is an alien romance series I've been talking about a lot this year. So the premise is that there is a human, look how pink that is. There's a human settlement on this faraway planet, and I think the idea was just to find an alternative Earth to live on since our planet is dying. And this is like 350 plus years after that. And so they talk a little bit about it, but basically you don't really know what went down. But there's this human settlement on this planet that is both, that they have advanced technology and not advanced technology at the same time. So it's like this weird mix, this weird in-between. And so book 2 follows the best friends of the hero and heroine in book 1. They're both very artistic people. The hero is a virgin hero. He likes to learn things. He's very interested in humans, and he's learning how to read and write in English. And then the heroine is an experienced lady. She knows what she wants. She's very sex positive, very close with her family, and open, and then obviously very artistic. I gave this one 4 stars. I didn't like it as much as the first book, but I thought the romance was very sweet. And then we're introduced to like other people from different settlements on the planet. Since there's word about the Kraken existing, there's like this army group that comes over and they try to figure out what's going on with the Kraken. So they're like the antagonists of the next few books. So then I went on to book 3, which is Hunter of the Tide, I think. And so this one's book 3 in the series. It was published later though, so the pub date is like 2019. It's a novella, and it was wrote for an anthology, but timeline wise it's book 3. Oh my god. So this one follows one of the army guys from book 2, and he falls for a female Kraken. I gave this one 3 stars. I wish it was a full-length book. Like, I don't know why they decided against that. You do kind of get a little bit about them in book 4 as well, but you miss a lot if you end up skipping this novella. So it has like a single parent romance, female Kraken. He ends up getting like a pet, so it has like a companion trope in there. It was very sweet, and it was, you know, refreshing just because it was a female Kraken, so you can kind of got more about how the females are. But like I said, I wish it was a full-length novel. I then went and read book 4 because I like to binge series. This ended up being like my favorite romance book of February. I'll link a video down below where me and some of my friends, romance reader friends, talk about our favorite romance reads for each month. So this one is Heart of the Deep by Tiffany Roberts. This follows kind of the antagonist from book 1. He was like set up to be the bad guy, but he's really not a bad guy. He just was very reluctant to be around humans. And it follows the sister of the hero from book 3. So there's like, she ends up capturing him, the hero, and then later helps him escape. So it kind of has a little bit of the capture trope. It has the my friend's little sister trope. He's a big, like the really big grunting hero trope. And then the heroine is also like a hunter. She's very fierce, so it has like the really strong, independent female heroine. I think this is my favorite so far in this series just because I was looking forward to this particular hero's book. And then the way, all the stuff that ends up going down, and then the way it ends. So this ends up taking place like 2 years after the first book. It might even be longer. And so you just get to see like the advancement and like the advancement of the interactions between the humans and the Kraken. Definitely shed some tears at the end. There are still more books in the series, but this is where I have paused my journey. I will continue though, because I do like me some tentacles. Okay, so next I'm going to talk about Bearded Mind by Reid. This is book 4 in the Winston Brothers series. This is a contemporary romance, small town, big bearded brothers romance. So this follows Bo Winston. He's one of the twins. He works at an auto shop with his brothers. And since his twin has fallen in love, he's kind of interested in settling down because he's kind of just been casually dating for a very long time. He's very easy, like he's a big flirt. Everyone thinks he's a playboy, but he's really not. He's trying to get serious with his current flame, but she just kind of wants to sleep with him. She doesn't want anything serious. And our heroine is Shelly, and she is this like 6 foot something gorgeous gal who is going to work at the auto shop with him when Dwayne leaves. And so she's there, and their meet cute is really funny because he mistakes her, like he thinks that she's a stripper, and she just does not find his charm appealing at all. Like she's like the only person that's ever like resisted his smile and his charm, and she thinks he's an idiot. And so they instantly kind of hate each other. She thinks he's stupid and he thinks she's a bitch. This has OCD rep. Shelly has OCD. She's in therapy. And yeah, so it's their romance. Their hate to love is very intense. Their romance is passionate. I love that Shelly was in therapy. I love that Bo learns how to be supportive for her, and he's not trying to fix her. There's a lot of good dialogue in this book about that. I think Reid, you kind of see that throughout all the books in the series, especially the last 2 books, about just being a support system for your partner and providing them with the tools, but the person has to be the one that makes the changes for themselves. Shelley is the sister of the hero in Penny Reid's other series, the Knitting in the City series. So from book 1, that the hero in book 1, Shelley, is his sister. And so you see them in there. I haven't read that book or that series yet, but I was aware of that connection. I give this book 4 stars. It is probably my second to least favorite in the series so far, mainly because I think we get most of the POV are all in Beau's point of views. So in the series you get dual perspectives and they're all pretty even, but this one there's only about 4 POV chapters from Shelley. I don't know for sure, but I'm assuming that's because since Shelley has OCD, when we are in her head, for example, she's very fixated on even numbers or odd numbers. So she doesn't like odd numbers. And I think it's the first POV chapter we're in, is she's in therapy session and she's talking about how she doesn't like it when people talk in odd word numbered sentences. And so you get her POV, but then you get like her OCD talking in her head. I'm thinking Penny Reid didn't want her chapters to be triggering. I'm not 100% sure, but I do wish that there were more Shelley chapters, just because since it was heavy on Beau's, it just kind of felt like, even though he didn't, it just felt like the relationship was kind of led by him, or things were done because of him or for him, or it just felt really Beau heavy because we were in his head so much. Even though he was a great boyfriend, he's a great hero, for some reason I just didn't like that there was so many POV chapters for him and very little, like I'm not exaggerating when there's only like 4 POV chapters for Shelley. So I really didn't like that. That was my main reason. Still a 4-star read. These audiobooks are amazing if you are looking for a contemporary romance audiobook. Yes. The male narrator just has the best deep southern accent for the brothers. And there are, I think, 2 or 3 different female narrators that come in for the women. So it's not all the same female narrator, which I kind of like, especially to give variety for the girls. There isn't an audiobook out for the next book in the series. I don't know why, but so I'll just have to read that one as an ebook, but yeah. Okay, and the last 2 books I want to talk about are 2 sci-fi novellas from the Forward collection on Amazon Prime. If you are a Prime member, there's audiobooks and ebooks that are free for you to check out and read. These are amazing. I love them so much. I don't know why more people aren't talking about these. So the first one I'll talk about is You Have Arrived at Your Destination. I don't have the author's name, but you'll see it on the picture. I don't think he's a sci-fi author. I think he's the only one that's not sci-fi, but he may have sci-fi elements in his books. So this collection was curated by Blake Crouch, and he did mention that this author has written one of the best books he's ever read. So I don't know if he's just a super fan or if he does have sci-fi elements in it, but his story is about this man that goes to this fertility clinic, and he's there to kind of finish off their process of having children. And since it is sci-fi, this one is futuristic in the sense that at this clinic you can pick what your child ends up being like. So not only the gender or what the child can look like, but you can pick like their mannerisms, and basically you can you can decide what their entire life will be like. So his wife had picked 3 different possible children and outcomes, and he watches them as a film, and so you experience that as well as the reader. And it's just kind of about, should we be playing God that way? Should we be able to pick and choose what our children not only look like, but what their life will be like? I gave this book 4 stars. I wish it did more sci-fi things. I don't want to get too spoilery about it, but I wish it did some kind of tropes, but it didn't. It was more kind of straightforward. Again, you can kind of tell that the author isn't a sci-fi guy. This is probably my least favorite or second to least favorite in the collection, just because I felt like the setup could have done a lot of cool things. But I do like the story and the fact that this guy got to basically see this timeline of his 3 different possible children that he could have. So that was really interesting. And then the final book I want to talk about is The Last Conversation, and this one is by Tremblay. He is a horror author, but if you don't know, if you don't read horror, there's a lot of sci-fi elements that are in the horror genre. This one's probably my favorite in the entire series, or in the collection. And I don't really want to say what it's about. I just want you to experience it for yourself. But I will say that there are good chunks of it that are written in second person. Well, a lot like this another story in the collection. You're kind of in the head of this person, and the talking points of this story basically are like what it means to be like self-aware and identity. So you might be able to kind of guess what the story might be about. It could either go kind of one or two ways. So it's nothing like surprising or shocking, but I just love the way that it was written out. I love the way that it was tied together. I love the way it ended. I love the way the story unfolded. Like, it was so interesting. Again, there are chunks of it that are written in second person because you are kind of the consciousness of one of the main characters in this short story. I do plan on doing a video. I have one story left in the collection, so I can talk about all of the stories together. I will say, as a collection, I think it's fantastic. I thought the prompt was what happens at the end of the world, but I don't know if I'm just having some kind of Mandela effect, because when I read the blurb at the end of the stories, it said that the prompt was like something about like advanced technology and like a turning point in this technology. So I don't know if it's Mandela effect, or if it was changed, or if I'm just remembering it incorrectly, because there are some of it where it is like the end of the world, and then some of it isn't, but you can tell that it's kind of getting to that point, similar to advanced technology and its turning point. So I don't know, but if you like sci-fi, or if you like short stories, or you're looking for audiobooks and you have Amazon Prime, check them out. Each of the audiobooks is also narrated by a different like sci-fi actor. I'll talk about that more in the video where I'm going to talk about the entire collection as a whole, but you can just search Forward Collection on Amazon. You can kind of look and see all the information there, but it's definitely worth checking it out. I have no idea why more people are not talking about this online. Okay, this was weird. Thanks for hanging out with me. My hair dye is still sitting on. It's very pink on the skin, but the look I'm going for is, you know, dark brown, and then it has like hint of purpley red when the light hits it. So hopefully that's what it turns out to be. Thanks for listening to my ramblings again. If you are a professional hairstylist, I'm sorry if this was very cringeworthy. I don't like spending a lot of money on my hair. I got my social media information down below if you want to be friends. Check them out. Please consider subscribing if you want to see more of my videos. I read romance, sci-fi, fantasy, horror, and comic books. Those are my genres of choice. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye!